Hi lovelies! I know a ton of you are on the hunt for healthy lunch inspiration as you head back to school and back to work after what I hope was a really relaxing summer. And not to worry, I have got you covered. In fact, all month long, I am sharing some of my very favorite lunch meal preps with you guys. And today, it is all about this absolutely incredible Cajun shrimp meal prep. It's super simple. The whole thing comes together in under 20 minutes and it's loaded with nutrition. It's got tons of protein, plus it's low carb. So if you're counting your carbs, it's a perfect recipe for you. Now, to get started here, I am going to be mixing up a really simple but super flavorful Cajun seasoning blend. Now, of course, in this recipe, you could always use some store-bought Cajun seasoning. That would be fine, but you won't believe how easy Cajun seasoning is to make with stuff you probably already have on hand in your pantry. In a small bowl, I'm gonna be combining some paprika. I'm using sweet paprika, but smoked would also work if you wanted to use that instead. Then to that, I'm gonna add some garlic powder, some onion powder, dried thyme, and a little bit of dried oregano. I'm also going to be adding a little bit of cayenne pepper here. The cayenne pepper is optional. I like a little bit of heat, but if you want to skip the heat, you totally can. I've got a little salt and a little pepper, and I'm just going to give this a quick whisk until it's nicely combined. And not to worry, if you're looking for the full written recipe with all the measurements, ingredients, and instructions, I always link that in the description box below the video. So as soon as you're done watching the video, you can go ahead and click that and you'll have all the info you need to recreate this dish yourself. All right, so here I've got about a pound of peeled shrimp, and I'm just gonna go ahead and shake over this amazing seasoning blend. You can decide how much or how little seasoning you want to add, but you really want to make sure your shrimp gets well coated because the seasoning is not only going to act as a flavor agent here, it's also going to give your shrimp a really nice crisp texture once it's cooked. So don't be shy with the seasoning. Once I've got my shrimp all nice and tossed in that seasoning, it's time to get these on the stove. I've got my nice big skillet heating up over medium-high heat, and to that I'm gonna add a nice big drizzle of oil. And just as soon as that oil gets nice and hot, you can go ahead and add your shrimp right into the pan. Now you wanna make sure your shrimp is in a single layer in the pan. You don't wanna overcrowd it. Obviously, there's so much to love about shrimp, but one of the best things about it is how quickly it cooks. So after only about 2 minutes on one side, your shrimp will be ready to flip, and we'll let it cook for another minute or two on the other side until it's turned bright pink and opaque, and that seasoning starts to give it a bit of a crispy exterior. All right, so our shrimp is fully cooked, which means it is time to remove it from the pan. I'm just going to transfer it to a bowl. Now that my shrimp's out of the pan, I'm gonna go ahead and add just a little bit more oil to this to give it some moisture. And then I can add my veggies. So here I'm using a really yummy combination of green zucchini, yellow zucchini, and some red bell pepper. So this is super seasonal. You can pretty much add any kind of veggies you want to this recipe. I love cooking my veggies in the same pan as my protein, because not only are they gonna get nice and soft and tender, but they're gonna pick up a lot of the flavor of that Cajun seasoning, which is great. Now, if your pan is looking a little dry, don't hesitate to add just a splash of water to it. That's going to help bring up some of that Cajun seasoning from the bottom of the pan to help coat your veggies, which is exactly what we want. It's also gonna help our vegetables steam a little bit and get extra tender. And the cool part about these veggies is that they're not gonna take long to cook, maybe 4 or 5 minutes. You wanna stop cooking them before they get mushy. Zucchini especially has a tendency to get a little mushy when you're cooking it. Don't overcook it. You want it to just get nice and tender, and then you can add your shrimp back into the pan. I'm gonna let this cook away for another minute or so, and that is it, guys. We are done, and what we're left with is amazing Cajun shrimp loaded with flavor. Perfect for lunch or dinner. Now you could always serve this up with some rice or some quinoa if you wanted to, but I'm keeping things low carb today, so I'm actually using some steamed cauliflower rice here instead, and it tastes absolutely amazing. Guys, this recipe is oh so flavorful, but as you saw, oh so simple to make and really, really fast to prepare. I hope you love it as much as I do and that you will give it a try for yourselves. If you do, be sure to tweet me, Instagram me, or Facebook me a photo because you know how much I love seeing your kitchen creations. Remember, this recipe, like all of my recipes, is featured on healthymealplans.com, our amazing meal planning site that allows you to browse more than 1,000 recipes, drag and drop them into your weekly meal plan, and then automatically generates your grocery list for the week. What could be easier than that? As always, guys, thanks for watching. And finally, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe because there is lots more deliciousness where this came from.